Hey, hello there. So I got a question after one of my recent videos about creating animated water. Specifically, they were thinking about creating an underground sewer map. So I thought I'd create an example here with a river. So the edges of this are obviously very uneven, but the solution that I arrive at here would certainly apply to any situation you need animated water. Now, I don't know if this is the best solution or the solution you'd want to use or any of that, but this is what I came up with when I thought about it for a little while. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. It's more or less just using the grid-free doodad plugin. Though to start off with here, I've created this map out of some other tiles I have, just to create the riverbed. So here I'm just drawing in wherever I want the water to be. It is a bit time consuming, but this is probably the most time consuming part of the whole process, so it's not really that bad. Really, I'm just creating a mask. The actual color doesn't actually matter at all for this stage. I suppose if you were working with a sewer system or a canal or something that had straight edges on the side, this would be quite a bit easier. So once that's done, I set that to darken mode, so all that texture underneath is going to show up. And around the edges of the river here, I'm going to want the color to shift to be a bit more green or even yellow, and the center of the river to be the most blue. And then on top of that, I'm going to erase, just with an airbrush, set to a low opacity, just a little bit around the edges. Just so it seems a bit deeper in the center of the river compared to the outside. And you should be able to play around with that in the levels afterwards. Alright, so there's the basic map. So the next thing to do here is introduce this sort of dark shadow shape just beneath wherever anything enters the water. I'm just going to do it on this left side here. Okay, so I'm going to create an animation here now. I'll use the same color I used for that shadow. Let's just get the exact color. I'll just copy the hex code here. Put that in Piskel. So now I've got that exact same color. And this is just going to be a very simple animation of a circle growing and shrinking, moving in one direction. You'll see what I mean. Now, in the finished map, I used 3 different animations. This is one of them. The other 2 I had created previously for other maps, and they sort of worked, but this one I created specifically for this map. So this one is a lot more suitable. Right now it's 3 frames long. I think I ended up adding 3 more frames in between, just so that it would be a bit smoother, but it could be just as suitable if it was only 3 frames long. Probably more efficient to do it that way. Got a lot of extra space around the edges, so I'm gonna resize this. Alright, let's save this animation. And let's load all of this stuff up in RPG Maker. Alright, here we go. Alright, here's the animation. Now the angle isn't quite right. I've got it sort of moving on a 45-degree angle. So I'll place this down once or twice. It's not quite right. It should be moving more of an acute angle, I think. But that's easy enough to change just by crushing the Y dimension a bit. That looks more appropriate. So this would be a case where I definitely do want all the animation happening at more or less the same frame rate. Oftentimes when I'm doing this sort of thing, I like to vary the frame rate around for a more organic look. But I think when placing these, I just used 2 different frame rates. Alright, so with that done, I'm going to move on to the second animation. And I created this one for a different map, and to be honest, I'm not very happy with this animation, but I'm going to use it anyways. This is a sort of a slow-moving drifting texture. It pulsates a bit. I just flip the x-axis so it moves in the right direction. So I'll just place a few of these around. And I'm going to use one more animation in here. Some floating plants. Just to further sort of emphasize that this is water, it's moving up and down. So these are supposed to be lily pads or something. It's going to vary the color a bit. Going to add some smaller, less opaque variations just around the edges. And that's it for the animation here. I did spend a bit of time afterwards adding in some plants, just to see how it might look a little bit differently. I think looking at it now, finished like this, the water in the middle should maybe be quite a bit lighter for contrast, but that would be an easy enough change. Well, anyways, that's all for this video. I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching.